Welcome to episode 17 of the Rebel Rundown. This is Hayley and I'm Ben, and we're looking forward to cracking into today's podcast, which we're going to primarily cover Torian Pro Recap, which was an awesome weekend, and we'll also get into just some of our general monthly updates, things coming up, and then we'll progress on from there, and hopefully got some good questions for Hayley to answer for you.
Yeah, should be fun. I was re-listening to our Torian Pro podcast from last year, and it was pretty cool to listen back to for me. And then I also know that a lot of members will probably be curious as to what the experience was like. And so I think it'll be cool to talk about.
Yeah, looking forward to it. So let's do a quick recap of the month so far. We're shooting this a little bit earlier than normal because I'm going
Not
away
really.
on holiday.
We usually shoot around this point.
Yeah.
It's the 20th today.
Is it? Already?
Yeah,
No,
or the
20th
19th.
Saturday.
The-
That's, I think.
Yesterday was the 18th, I think.
Meh.
Look at your phone.
What
Check.
day is it? Thursday. 19th.
19th.
Yeah.
There you go.
Sweet. So anyway, we're going to cover some things that we've had going on in the gym. Main one was probably the Community Cup, which was good fun. It was interesting. We've never run it in the gym before, but overall it went really well, and I know a lot of people enjoyed it.
Yeah.
What was your take on it?
I thought it was good. I really enjoyed doing it. Like, it was fun to jump in with everyone. And I think, like, some people definitely got into it. Some people didn't. I think it was, like, an interesting... Like, I'll be interested to see if they do it again. With CrossFit, I think that it's a really cool idea and they ran it relatively well. But they just, like... It was at a weird time. And, like, I think it was really hard for people to buy in. Like, we get a lot of people buying into the CrossFit Open, and we also last year ran the Soul Rebel Games, which, like, people, like, they bought in. Like, they made an effort to do the workouts if they couldn't make up in class, and they, like, I don't know, this was just a bit like,
Yeah, well, people don't like, and I think that's probably the general consensus in the CrossFit community, where it's kind of like, oh, what is this thing?
Yeah.
Like, it's nothing like the Open. There's not as many people going to be doing it as that. It's a lot different looking at stacking yourself up if you decide to register.
Yeah.
For us, it was more of like an in-house sort of thing, and when you draw the parallels to like the Soul Rebel Games that we ran last year, we wanted it to be similar to that.
Yeah.
But I think, like, for us, being able to program our own workouts, know where everyone in the gym's at,
And, like,
really
we
skew
could...
the levels how
Yeah,
we
we could
wanted.
just have, like, 3 levels, so that way you did the same 3 levels, you were on that leaderboard. Whereas for this one, we did it differently because there were so many levels. Like, we just had everyone on the same leaderboard, which was actually pretty cool.
Yeah, I think we could do that.
Yeah.
But, yeah, we just have to get the levels right.
Yeah, and, like, because then people who registered, they kind of did their level that they were given by CrossFit, but, like, if they weren't registered, they probably would have done a different level. Like, and then other people that weren't registered jumped around a little bit, and it was just, I don't know, it was a little bit like, it was a bit just confusing. Like, there was no...
Yeah, it was good to try out.
But I thought it was great fun. Like, especially on the Saturday, like, it was freezing in here, but, like, everyone was, like, trying their best. They all got around it. Like, it was really fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't say I wouldn't run it next year. And again, like, who knows whether it'll go ahead next year if they change it.
It was also just at a weird time. Like, I don't think lots of people knew that it was going on because, like, especially for people, not necessarily people at our gym, but, like, just people in general, because there's so much going on right now in the CrossFit world. Yeah. Like, it just was a weird time.
Yeah, and it's so new. It's like, it's just different. But, there was plenty of positives. I think the coolest thing for us running it and having everyone on the same leaderboard is we got to see, different people bobbing up in workouts or finishing in the top 5 or 10. And there's probably, a workout or so in there where it's like a little bit skewed, where, like, if someone was doing
the wrong level,
the level that was a little bit easy, they'll get a really big score. And if you're doing the, like, advanced workouts, pro ones for everything, like, you might have had a really hard workout in there.
Yeah.
So, but it is what it is. And then the strength thing was, like, where there's a little bit of balance to that too, where there's no options for different abilities. It's just everyone's doing the same thing.
And I thought that our, like, results were actually quite good. Like, it was cool to see. Like, we had on the men's side, it was like Sean in first, and then we had Hendrik in second, which was cool, and then Dave S, so Dave who trains in the morning, in third. And like, you know, they're all really fit athletes. They were all doing different levels and like doing levels at their own ability. And like, that's how it stacked up, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then on the girls' side, we had Ruth at the top, which was really awesome. And then Rach and Chiwen. So again, all super fit people doing completely different levels. But like, you know, there's no reason why they shouldn't have been at the top.
Yeah. And I think, it shows too that a lot of people probably were doing the right level, because if you've got someone who's doing pro and they do put up a good score, it's like, cool, that works.
Yeah.
And if you've got someone who's doing like 2 or 3 levels below, but they're getting similar or slightly higher score, then that's good. It's where if there's like this massive gap that it's like, oh, you're probably a level low. But I think for the most part, it was pretty spot on. And
and a lot of the workouts too, it was actually cool because they had reduced reps for some of the levels, which made it so that like the people doing the like slightly easier versions, they actually had to do like more work to get the amount of reps, which worked well because obviously they were doing like slightly easier versions. They might have been doing step ups or a weight that's light for them, but because they were doing that, they could go faster and then try and catch up to the higher volume version. So I thought it was actually, it was pretty good.
Yeah, plenty of positives and things that we can look at implementing potentially in the Soulable Games later.
And I think the 3 workouts that they put out were actually good workouts too.
Yeah,
like as much as it's good for us to program our own to make it fit a bit better in class, like the 3 workouts they did were pretty damn good workouts.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, I don't know, I think it was pretty fun.
Cool.
We also have been doing our monthly challenge, so the max distance dead ball. It's been good. Lots of people have been giving that a crack. It's definitely more enticing than the Echo bike was.
Having said that, it looks a lot more, I haven't done it yet, but it looks a lot more painful than I was
Not
expecting.
the Echo bike.
No, not the Echo, but like, well, yes and no.
It's hard if you want to make it hard. Like when I did it, I just like walked for 2 minutes and I was like, oh, that was kind of easy. But then like people like Neil, he's got the score to beat at the moment, and he like ran the whole 2 minutes with the 45 or the 50 kilo bag, and like that looked pretty hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's one that definitely everyone can, if they want to hurt on, they can. So yeah, it's interesting.
Are you going to try and beat him?
We'll have to either do it today or tomorrow. I haven't even thought about that.
Do it today.
But yeah, I guess I'll do it at some point.
Yeah.
Before I go away.
Nice. So yeah, that's been fun. We've planned out the next month's one. We won't tell you what it is yet, but it should be a challenging one, I think.
Yeah, different challenge again. Like they're all going to be different, but this one's not going to be so much heart rate, but some other areas are going to burn.
It'll be good though. I don't know what else. That's kind of it. We've got the nutrition challenge coming up next month, so you guys have probably already heard about that, but if you're interested, definitely get signed up. It's a perfect time to jump on a challenge because winter, it's cold, you want some accountability. It is a nutrition challenge, but I also think you can kind of think of it as like a bit of a training challenge too. So like everything's connected. So you dial in your nutrition, you also have a bit of accountability for your training.
There's a bit of stuff about mindset.
Mindset. Yeah. So I'm really excited for that. And get signed up if you haven't already. And
yeah.
That's about it.
Great time of year to do it.
Yeah. Any others, or that's our recap?
No, that's Like it's been a busy year to date, and I think the next month or so is going to there's going to be a little bit less going on.
Yeah.
Should be nice for us, but then it gets toward the back end of the year and things start
we
going
do
crazy
have
again.
something to look forward to in the next podcast is we'll recap the Friday Night Lights, which is tomorrow.
Yeah.
So we've got 5 athletes competing at that, so that'll be really fun. But obviously we can't recap that now because it's in the future. I think it's going to go really well though.
Yeah, they're going to do awesome. They're all looking forward to it, and now it's on you to make sure that they perform.
Don't you worry, Ben. We've got good plans, me and the 5 gangsters.
Yeah. So let's roll into the Torian Pro and give it a bit of a review, a bit of a question answer, and I think it's be good for Hayley just to have the platform for a little bit to just give a bit of a general overview for herself, and then I'll get into some nitty-gritty questions.
Yeah, I don't know. It was such a fun weekend. Like, I don't know. The whole thing was awesome. Like, the experience was good, but then also just like, I think for the whole community, like it was a really good weekend, and like massive thank you to everyone at Soul Rebel. Like I couldn't have done any of it without you guys, like from supporter tees, like everyone who brought a supporter tee, like that was like the biggest help with like flights and accommodation and just like taking the stress off of like the weekend. So that was awesome. Everyone was also just really supportive with their kind words. Like people jumped in on training with me leading up to it, like a few of the boys. And then heaps of people came up to watch, which was like awesome. We had such a good crew up there. Like it was...
And they were one of the louder, like, cheering crews when the athletes would come out and get announced, which was awesome.
Yeah, it was so cool. And like we actually had... I feel like last year we spent a decent amount of time with them maybe, but I feel like this year, like, I don't know, we spent heaps of time together and it was just awesome. Like, I had my crew, like, at the Airbnb too, so it was like Ben, Steve, Sarah and Hendrik. Like, we just had the best time, and I don't know, all of it just played into, like, the success that was the weekend, and, like, the whole Soul Rebel community is, like, a massive part of that. So thank you guys, and like everyone too who watched at home and sent me messages, and like it was amazing. So
yeah, a lot of people were stoked, you know, like coming back into the gym, and people were like sort of in awe of how you performed and being able to like watch you on live streams and all that. So it definitely like motivates some people and creates a little bit of a spark, and people are proud to be a part of, you know, obviously our gym and being able to have Hayley representing us at that high level and doing so well. So it's pretty cool.
So yeah, I hope I did make you guys proud. And it's cool to see like, I think for the members, like they see me training all the time and everyone's always like, oh, what are you training for? Like, Hayley, you're in here so much. Like, so it's kind of cool for them to see like that's what it's for. Like that's like, you know, all the hard work like leads to that, and you know, for them to train and like potentially they could lead to something like that, like on their own scale as well. And I love being able to like bring back, like last year, like bring back the sign was cool and sticking it on the wall. It was like pretty cool. But then this year I'm like, yeah, like that sign belongs like in the gym. Like it doesn't really, I feel like it's not mine. Like it's like everyone's. It's cool. It's really cool. Sick to have. So anyway, thank you guys. Like it was such a good weekend. And I'm sure that everyone knows like that it was a good weekend. You could just see from like all the photos, videos, like just chatting in the gym. Like, yeah, it was pretty cool. Yeah, it was awesome fun. And again, like, you know, we'll plan to be there again next year. If you've got the inkling to come up, definitely come and check it out. It is a really good weekend overall. So yeah, and I feel like all the people who came this year, they'll have their tickets booked for next year. Like, I think they enjoyed watching the CrossFit, but they also just like somehow made it like a massive like party holiday.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. There was a few people tired by the last day because they've been
more tired than me.
2 or 3 days.
Yeah, literally. They've been like on the night there was like a CrossFit after party at some like bar club thing, and they're like, oh yeah, we've been there every night. Freaking funny. Yeah. Anyway, all right, let's get into some questions. So the first one I've got for you is, what was the biggest difference for you competing this year compared to last? I think there was a lot of differences, and like last year was so fun, and I don't know, like this year just topped it by like 1,000. I don't even know how, because last year was really good, but I think this year like I just felt way more comfortable. Like, I don't know, as soon as I got, like last year, as soon as I got to Brisbane, I was literally like a deer in headlights. Like I was like terrified of the whole experience. Like I remember going to check in and being like, I shouldn't be here. Like Ben had to come with me everywhere. Like it was like scary. And even though I knew Daisy, like I didn't really know anyone else. And it just, I don't know, it was like terrifying. Whereas this year, as soon as I got to Brisbane, I just felt like calm. Like I was meant to be there. And like whenever we would see people that are big names, or like, you know, you see them on Instagram, you don't really like, you know, just people who are really good athletes, like it wasn't that scary. Like they were just normal people, because I've kind of like
met a lot of them now.
Yeah, I've met a lot of them. Like I know them. Like, you know, it's still pretty cool to see them. Like it always is like a bit surreal to like be in the same area as them, but like I don't know, I belonged there kind of as much as they did, like is what it felt. So I think that played like the biggest part in it because it meant that I was just calm. Like there wasn't any unnecessary like nerves or like anxiety about like being there or the scariness and bigness of it. Like it just felt kind of more fun. And I think the reason behind that is just like a little bit more experience, like being at Torian last year and then also Down Under's like another opportunity where I got to be in a similar scene. When I went to New Zealand, like there was also like some bigger names there as well. So it's just was like experience, I think. And I wouldn't say
that's a big part.
Sure. I wouldn't say it was more like confidence because I think my confidence leading into the event was much lower than what it has been.
I don't know. I reckon. Personally, I wouldn't agree with that.
You reckon?
No, not at all. Not at all. I think like it's, you know, every year you do big competitions, it feels different going in.
Yeah.
And you know, this year leading into it was quite different for you from a training perspective and like probably getting feedback around where you're at as an athlete with just the way things fell. But I think you were more confident in your ability to go and like execute the workouts the way that you intended.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that has come from learning experiences. Like last year, as I said, I listened to the podcast last year and like we were talking about like lessons learned and like I didn't actually listen to it before I went to Torian. I kind of wish I did, but one of them, obviously I learned the lesson anyway, was that like to not get carried away by the people around you. So like remembering to just like, well, I kept reminding myself to just like run my own race, like run your own race. Like that's where you get the best out of yourself. Whereas last year, I think I tried to like keep up with everyone else and like I got in my head when other people were like doing much better than me. Whereas this year I was just like, I'm just going to do what I can do and like hopefully it pays off, which it did. Like it worked. And I think that that's something that I can sort of take into future years is like do that, but then also start to implement more like competitive edge, like trying to find the balance where you're not like getting sucked in by the other people, but you can kind of like use them to push you further in a way. So.
And you have worked a lot on your mindset, you know, like general stuff around training, around preparation and like expectations, you know, like going in and not sort of focusing on the result of the workouts or the leaderboard overall, but like just focusing on how you apply yourself, how you prepare yourself.
Yeah.
And when I think like from my perspective, whenever I've competed at comps or like coaching different athletes, it's very calming when you are focused on the right things, you know, and you have like a bit of a structure around what you're doing into each event and the weekend as a whole. It just grounds you and brings you back. And
it honestly took, it felt effortless when I was in Brisbane, but it took a lot of work here. And like during the lead up, like it was like, you know, there was a lot of work that I think went into, and as much as it felt like, you know, it's like when you're training, you feel like none of your training's working. Like you're constantly like putting pressure on yourself and you're like, I'm doing all this work and I'm not getting any better. It was similar for me, like I was doing kind of mental work and it felt like nothing was like helping or working or whatever, I don't know. But once you got up, it's like everything sort of fell into place. So, and I think that was a good lesson to learn too, is like the work isn't for nothing. Like you're doing the work and, you know, you're not just going to get results straight away. You've got to continue to put in the work and then like, you know, it's for a reason. And I think that all the work that like myself and Ben as well, like helped me heaps, like the work that we put in, as much as it was hard work, like at the time and like training wise and just like outside of training wise, it paid off. Like it everything like fell into place, which was just, I don't know, it was just awesome.
Yeah. Definitely.
So yeah, I don't know. I just felt like I belonged up there and I had a good mindset. And yeah, as I said, it's like as soon as I got to Brisbane, I just felt calm. Like I wasn't nervous. I wasn't stressed about like what we were doing or what time we were doing it or what I was eating or this, that, whatever. I was just like, I'm just going to do my thing. And that's what I did. And it made it like a super enjoyable weekend and we got a good result out of it. So yeah, I don't know. It was really great though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all right, I've got another question for you.
Yes.
A bit of a different one. And this might not be one, like this might be one now you can reflect on a bit more and whatnot, but I wanted to ask you how it felt to take the floor with Tia, which again, in the moment, you're obviously pretty focused on yourself and stuff, but like maybe a few weeks later now, you know, is that something you sort of look back on a bit?
To be honest, I feel like I haven't really thought about it that much. Like, Tia's really awesome. Like, she is amazing, but I feel like I've never really like fangirled over her in a way. Like, I don't know. It was really cool, but I don't think I ever like was like starstruck. She's just like another. She's just like another person, and I think it was really awesome to be a part of like. Just a part of all of it. Like, it was just amazing to be there, and like this Torian Pro is going to be one that like, I think it's going to be one of the best Torian Pros like that there ever was. Like, they did such an awesome job like honouring Tia, and like they had so many things just to make it special for her and like special for everyone. And I think just being a part of that is like really special. Like, that's something that I'm grateful for, and like that is pretty cool. And yeah, it was just awesome like getting to experience competing against her, and also just for like personally on like an athletic level, like I think that's really cool, like getting to compete against her, being in the same heat as her 3 times, which wasn't just like luck of the draw. Like, I earned being in those same heats as her, which I think is just cool, because not that many more people are going to get to experience that, because if she's retiring, like, you know, that's her career like finished. So,
and she hasn't competed at that competition for a while. So there's a lot of girls who come into the sport and even though she's been actively competing, haven't had that opportunity. I think it's something like as time goes on, you'll realise you'll take more note of like how unique that opportunity was and that experience. And as I said, like in the moment, that's not what you want to be thinking about or focusing on. But I do think, like reflecting, that will be, you know, the fact that you had that opportunity, you got to have that experience.
And I feel like Tia was like the one athlete that whenever I would sort of come across her, it was similar to like last year, because obviously I'd never met her before and I've never competed against her before. So like, you know, whenever you'd see her, you were kind of like, am I in your way?
She basically had like a posse of like media people following her everywhere she went, which was, probably a little bit of a shame, because you probably didn't like, you know, there wasn't a lot of opportunity to sort of, you know.
Well, I think she obviously
chat to her or whatever, but like it kept her like busy the whole time, I guess.
Well, and also like she wasn't in the athlete area. Like, I think she just hung out like kind of. They must have had like a gold suite or something upstairs. So she must have just hung up there, because then whenever it was warm-up time, she'd bring like her whole gym bag down into the warm-up area. And like that was the only time you'd really get to see her, whereas all the other athletes are in the same area, like hanging out the whole time. So I don't know. It was really cool though. Like, I'm just grateful to be a part of it. And I think that like anyone who attended Torian, like even as a spectator, like they'll hold that something special for them too, like getting to experience that event in person. Like, it was amazing. Like, there was one moment, and I know you've got a question, which I was going to mention this in anyway, but there was like one bit that it was actually right before we were going out to take the photo with the Soul Rebel people. So I don't know how many of like you guys actually saw it, because I think majority of you guys were outside, but it was just after one of her events, whatever it was, the event 3, and they actually played on the screen like an interview that she did at the very first Torian Pro. And she was like saying about how she's just here for experience, she's just here to have fun, like, you know, she's just wanting to do lots of comps and get experience and yada, yada, yada. And like they had her on the screen, like watching that. And then, I don't know, it was just like full circle. It was crazy. And it kind of like it like made me realize that she's just like another person too. Like, she's not this like superhero, like kind of, I don't know, like she's worked hard for that. So it was really cool. It was cool to be part of. Yeah.
All right. Next question is there like, and this could be like a general highlight, or it could be like an individual personal one from the weekend. Is there anything
Yeah,
Does anything
I
stand
actually
out? Or maybe you can
wrote
give me-
3 questions
yeah,
down
maybe
that
you
I
can
wanted.
Give me a couple. Yeah.
So I wanted to do 3 highlights from the weekend, which I have. So, and like when I first kind of thought about this, like a few weeks ago, I was like, I don't have a highlight. Like it was all a highlight. But like the more I've reflected, like there definitely are a few moments that like to me, like that was really quite cool. And I do have like so many highlights. Like every workout I could give you a highlight and a low light or whatever from. But I think my absolute like top 3 moments from the weekend was first one would be probably like when after event 5 we were like sitting back. So we went back and like that move it or lose it was a pretty disgusting workout. It was like one that would make you feel sick. Like so I didn't really want to eat like straight after because pretty much like you kind of need to eat like as soon as you finish an event just to like refuel and then you'll probably eat again before the next event. So, you know, the timing when you're eating is quite important at events like this. So anyway, we came down and Ben's like, oh, you should eat something. And I was like, oh, I don't really feel like eating. Like I was trying to decide what to take with me up to sit with the crew and like watch the boys or whatever. And I was like, oh, how long do you reckon we have? And Ben's like, oh, yeah, okay, so heat 4, that'll be at, because at this point, so going into Move It or Lose It, I was in like 13th. And then he's like, okay, so heat 4, that will be at like 4:15 or 4:30 or whatever. I was like, oh, yeah, cool. Like, okay, so I'll take this and then we'll come back in like 20 minutes and I'll eat my wraps and then we'll have like an hour and a half and then we'll whatever. Like, and then he's like, about 5 minutes later, he's like, oh, actually, I think you'll be in heat 5. Like, you're in 8th. And I was like, what? Like, what the heck? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, let me see. And he showed me the leaderboard and I was in 8th, which means that I was in the top heat for the last event, which was like, if you watched it, you would have seen it was like 4 girls heats and then the 5 boys heats. And then the last heat was the girls because it was Tia's last heat. And I was like, really? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, okay, that's hectic. So then I was just like, straight away then I was like, okay, this is really cool. So anyway, we had ages and I went up and I remember going up and like all the Wolf Den people were sitting right next to all the Soul Rebel people. And I was like saying to everyone, I was like, Adam, I'm going to be in the top heat. And like I was telling Mark and Nat and like everyone was just like so excited. And I was so excited. I just couldn't believe it. Like it was crazy. It was kind of a similar feeling to when I was like at the top of the leaderboard in the quarterfinals.
Yeah.
Like you can't believe it.
Yeah.
So I think that was like the highlight, one of the highlights. And then also being downstairs, like when all the girls were warming up and like girls were coming back and they were completing their event and like me and Daisy are just sitting there in the Normatex, like no rush in the world. Like it was just crazy. Like, I don't know. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that's can be a cool thing about not like having expectations around placings and where you're going to be on the leaderboard is that you can have some nice surprises along the way in that case. So.
And I think that was like another thing I was just at peace at this whole weekend was like, I didn't really think about the leaderboard like at all. Like after the first day, the first event didn't go as well for me as I would have liked. Like, and I think that was probably the only like low light that I had of the whole weekend was that one event because
the handstand walking over it.
No, I don't. That didn't faze me. The only one that really got me was the first event because the reason I think it got me was because I had expectations around it. Like I expected to do well in it, and then it's not as if I did like terrible, but like for me, I didn't do as well as I know that I could have, which was a bit disappointing. But then, you know, after that, the second workout, it's not a good workout for me in the whole like realm of everyone there. But like I had a goal and I met my goal, so then I was stoked. And I think after the first day I was like 24th, but I was just like, oh well, whatever. I didn't even ever think about it. I didn't think about the fact that I was in the third heat. I didn't really care. I was just like, I did my goal, like whatever. The first workout was bad, but like who cares? Second workout I was stoked with, even though that was my worst placing of the whole weekend. And then I didn't really care like where I was sitting, and then I don't even know what I was at after the third workout. Like I have no idea. After Grisabel, I was just happy the next day because it meant that I got to be in that top heat again. Like I was 13th, which there was 16 girls in the heat, so I got to be in that top heat. And then I was 8th after that event. So I was just I didn't really, and I knew like after that last event I would move down the leaderboard just because of what the workout was, but like I didn't really care. Like I was just like, I'm just gonna try my best. Like that was my vibe the whole weekend. So anyway, that was my first highlight. The second one is also in a similar realm, which I think that this was one of the like surreal moments, was warming up for that last event. Like that was so cool. Like being in the warm-up area, all the other girls had already gone. So none of them were anywhere to be seen. The guys, most of them are gone. So like when I went to warm up, literally the only people in the warm-up area, because the whole weekend, whenever you go in the warm-up area, it's like chaos. There's athletes everywhere, there's coaches everywhere, there's barbells everywhere. Like it's chaos. When I went in, there was 2 heats of boys, the second heat or the second last heat of the boys and the top heat. So it was like Ricky, Jay, like Pete, all the really good, Gee, like all the big dogs down there. And then it was the top heat of the girls, and which was like Tia, Maddie, Grace, Daisy, Georgia, Gemma, whatever, all them girls. Like that was it. And there was very few coaches because a lot of the top athletes all have the same coach, the same proven coach. So like it was just kind of him. And then like there was just not a lot going on. And it was really cool to like observe what the other athletes were doing. And also the event, you didn't really need to warm up much. So we were just kind of like all standing around. They were like watching, I don't know. It was just really cool to be down there and like to be not like I was allowed to be down there. Like that's where I needed to be. Like there was no reason for me to not be there. Like, I don't know. It's like I earned the right to like be there. I don't know. It was really cool. So that was awesome. And it was just like, there was another moment then too, like outside, because they've got a rig outside to warm up on, and like the whole weekend it was pouring rain. So this was like the only like time we got to warm up out there. And it was like dusk. There was a massive like Pat Rafter Arena sign and like the rings, and I don't know. It was just really cool. So that was my second highlight. And my third highlight was just like, this is multiple times, but every time that we went back up to like and found the Soul Rebel people, like that was the best. Like every time they'd always like cheer for me, and everyone was always stoked. Like they were just having the best time. And it just like, I was already like having a great time, and then every time I'd go up there, it would just make me even happier. Like it was so fun. Yeah. So they're my top 3 moments.
Very good. I think we've actually we've somehow covered quite a few of the other questions I had. But
I wrote these 3 too.
I'm going to ask another one, which I've sort of got in here, but I did want to see if there was, which you've shared a little bit of stuff around this already, but if there was, an experience or something that you think you could pass on to members that might even help them in their day-to-day, how they approach workouts, or if they're going to do a competition. Is there any kind of advice or things that you've learned through competing that you think would be valuable? I
definitely think so. And I think I learned a lot from like this experience, and also just all my experiences. Like I'm constantly learning and evolving and becoming a better athlete. Like people are always saying like you can see when people have experience, and I think it's really true. Like you do learn a lot from like every single comp that you do. So I think the first thing is like, you need to be confident in your own ability. Like I'm constantly, and I'm still working on this like all the time. But there's so many people in the gym who are just too, like, they're just kind of like, they hold themselves back because they're not confident in their ability to like get a skill or to improve or to try something hard, or they're just like not confident. Like you need to be like 100%. Like I understand right now that I can't do this as well as I probably like, but like I'm confident that I will be able to do that. And I'm confident that I can do a competition and hold my own and like compete against the others. Like you just need to not, like, don't talk down about yourself. Don't like question everything. Just do it. Like I think that's like number one thing. Like be confident and just like trust the process and just do
And
things.
and I think a part of that is like being okay if things don't go to plan, or if you don't perform quite as well as, you know, like you're not always gonna just like execute everything perfectly.
Yeah.
Or, like try something new and get it straight away. Like there's
But
gonna,
then brush
there's
it
gonna be
off.
times where it's like it's a struggle, it's a challenge, it doesn't go to plan, and just like if you're gonna beat yourself up over that stuff.
Yeah.
You're never going to take the step forward that you need with what Hayley's talking about. So, yeah, definitely. And I think that's something you've got better at as well, is being like, hey, if I failed this lift or I missed this or whatever, it's like, it's fine. Like, it's not like everyone's looking at me laughing.
Yeah.
It's just a part of it. And so, yeah.
And that kind of leads into my next one, which is like that all the stars don't have to align for you to compete well, right? All the stars might be aligning and you might have the worst competition ever, you know? Like, it doesn't matter. Like, your ability on the day, like, there's so many things that play into it. And, like, for me, like, I wouldn't, and people who have kind of seen the lead up to Torian, like, I wouldn't say it was a very good lead up, like, at all. Like, training wasn't as good as I would have. And I think, like, it was pretty good, but, like, in my head, it wasn't that good, which kind of made it not good. So, like, it doesn't, like, none of it matters. Like, you don't need to train at the exact same time every single day and hit every single session and do every single thing on the program. Like, the majority of it, obviously, you should do. But if you're not feeling good or you've got an injury or this, that, whatever, it's okay to, like, have rest. It's okay to do something different. It's okay to go out and enjoy time with your family or and friends. You don't have to be in bed at 8 o'clock every night. Like, all the stars, they don't have to align. That's just, I don't know, there's not like a massive puzzle and like every single, like it does, I don't know how to explain it, but you can have, if you just do, you be consistent, you try your best at the things that really matter, and you just like try your best, you listen to your body, you listen to your mind, you're confident in yourself, like that's when you're going to get the best out of yourself, I think. I don't know, do you have,
I think part of
I feel like I'm not explaining this well.
Yeah, I think part of what you're saying too is like not overthinking everything.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Like Hayley said, and you know, this is a good lesson for you still now, is
Yeah.
that like, you know, you can be thinking that like training is going one way, and often what happens is people kind of trick themselves into like, oh, I've done this thing before and it felt better like a year ago.
Yeah,
and like generally like what's going on is that like you're remembering this single moment where you had success with something and you felt really good about yourself, and you thought, like, you're thinking now that back then like you were amazing, and now that something's like not, you don't feel like you're breaking new ground and feeling really good about yourself, that hey, you're actually worse, but it's generally just a complete trick that your mind's playing on you.
Yeah.
And you're not probably really remembering that moment and the lead up to that moment all that well. And so, yeah, like trying really, like, don't get caught up in what is going on in the past. Like, focus on how you can like solve problems and move forward.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to allow you to really get the best out of yourself and reach your potential more often than not.
And like comparison, like against others and then also yourself, like that can be like the biggest thing that really lets you down, like mentally wise. Like, there's not many times in CrossFit where you can exactly compare anything. Like, compare yourself to yourself. You can't compare yourself to others. Like, things don't align like that. Like, it's, I don't know, it just doesn't work. Like, yeah, it just, you just need to trust the process and like keep working. And like, if you feel as though your training's not working, like, it probably is. You're just comparing yourself to this time that you've either, like, I'm like to myself all the time, I'm like, I feel like I'm so bad at this. I'm like, am I just making that up?
This is something I tell, like, a lot of, especially like people doing weightlifting, it's like, because it's like a lot more, like the training's so consistent. You're doing the same lifts and movements like all the time. CrossFit's a lot more varied, and like you might think like, hey, like a burpee box jump over, like they felt really good 3 months ago and now they feel harder, but it's like you've got so many things like going into what, like what else are you doing with it? Is it different reps? Have you done something that fatigued the area the day before? Like it's a lot more varied. But like with lifters, it's like you're only one good session away from feeling like you've just made a massive leap forward. So you can have like 3 weeks of just feeling like crap, hard, missing lifts. and then you have one good day and you PB a lift or two and you're like, oh my God, like it's working again. And so, yeah, again, just like keep chipping away,
and
moving
just trust
forward,
it,
being okay with things being challenging. Like if you do it consistently, like Hayley's saying, you're going to have the good days and you're going to have, like, for her, it was a really good overall competition that now she realizes, like, oh, hey, like, you know, I was getting in my head about training or this or that leading up, and it was like, really, it was unfounded. It doesn't mean that you can't, like, analyze things as you go.
Yeah.
But, like, you got to be careful with it.
And looking back, like, I think overall, like, the result is it's, like, showing that, like, the training is, like, working and paying off. But then also there were, like, probably two things that, like, stood out to me as, like, you can see clear improvement from last year compared to this year, which were the rope climbs as a one, because it was the exact same. Obviously, it was a different workout, but I would actually say this year's workout was probably a little bit harder when it came to grip fatigue and strength and that. So the rope climb workout, it was the exact same height, the exact same reach and touch. And, like, if you were to look at, which I don't even know, there probably is a video of me doing a rope climb last year, but if you were to look at a video of me doing a rope climb last year compared to a video of me doing a rope climb this year, like, you can see a clear difference. And, like, as much as when I'm training, I'm like, I hate legless rope climbs. Like, I don't hate them, but, like, these are scary. Like, I'm not good at these. Like, they just feel hard, like, a lot of the time. But that's what they're meant to feel like. They're not an easy thing. Like, I don't know how to describe it. And then same with my ring muscle ups. Like, I saw a video of me doing ring muscle ups this year, and I'm like, they look like legit ring muscle ups. Like, I know they're not as good as many other girls out there, but, like, they're not half bad. Like, compared to what they used to be. Like, they're actually pretty good. Like, I move relatively well. Like, there's still different things that I can do to make them better, but, like, that's a clear improvement. And, like, I don't train ring muscle ups that often because I have had lots of issues with my shoulders, but even with the training that I have been doing, like, it's been making them, like, it's working. I don't know what to say, but yeah. And then I have probably another one. The last thing is, like, try and recover well. Like, you don't need to be tedious about it. Like, as I said, all the stars don't have to align. Like, if you don't have ideal recovery, like, it doesn't mean it's going to absolutely ruin everything. But, like, do your best. Like, that's the thing that when in Brisbane, like, I didn't overthink anything. And, like, especially with recovery, like, I just went with the flow. Like, I prepped all my food in advance so that I had enough food to eat. I made sure that I ate enough in between each thing. I wasn't, like, last year I had a exact food plan, which was good, but, like, it wasn't, for me, like, it was probably a little bit too unnatural. Whereas, like, this year I just ate what I felt like eating. I made sure I ate after every event. I ate the 3 or 4 meals kind of that I eat every day: breakfast, second breakfast, lunch, and dinner, with, like, just extra snacks in between. We had the Normatec, so whenever we were at home, I just Normatec'd, but I was not, I went to bed so late compared to usual, but, like, I wasn't stressed. I was waking up early. I didn't get very good sleep, but, like, I was trying my best. So I think that kind of played into it too. Like, at the end of the weekend, I wasn't, like, cooked. So, like, and I think that's, like, an ode to the recovery side of it. Like, I made sure that I was fueled and recovered, and the environment was just, like, relaxing.
You were managing your energy as a whole much better. You know, like this is where if you're getting too nervous or too anxious or stressed or worrying about, like, oh, have I eaten enough? Have I not eaten enough? Am I going to bed on time? I was like, it just, like, this is energy that you're just wasting.
Yeah.
And so it's, like, again, coming back to, like, hey, this doesn't all have to be perfect.
Yeah.
I can still perform really well, being at ease with things.
Yeah.
That conserves a huge amount of, like, energy.
And I think what I've realized from multiple comps is that, like, you know, I do so many workouts every day and I just eat normally every day. So, like, if I eat normally like that, I can perform well. The extra carbs are just, like, a bonus. Like, I don't need to be stressed if I have forgotten to eat or I wasn't able to eat more. Like, I can still do well. It's like it's back to that, like, all the stars don't have to align thing. Like, you can still do well. So anyway.
Very good. All right. So what's next for Hayley now?
No, there's more questions.
I want to get into this one.
Okay. Are you going to still ask the rest of the questions?
No,
Why?
because we've covered a lot of them.
No, I want to talk about the most challenging workouts.
Okay, we'll get into that. So, I want to know what's next for Hayley. I'm sure the listeners do too. Off-season plans, competitions coming up. Are there any personal goals that you've been setting?
I don't know. I just want to keep training, and there's a few more comps coming up, like Down Under. Definitely want to do that as an individual. So the qualifiers are next week. So hit those hard. Hopefully qualify. That's not till October though. So then between then and now, just like dial in, keep training, keep working on my mindset, like keep being kind to myself and just having fun. I don't know, me and Al are going to do the Coastal Clubhouse comp in Warrnambool, so that'll be fun. And then hopefully a few other local comps depending on when they are and what suits. But my plan's just to go hard on different things in training and keep getting better. Yeah.
Cool.
So
all right. So then, what was the most challenging?
No, I don't know why he's changing the plan. We've got more questions. Ben doesn't want this to go forever, but I want to do favourite workout and least favourite workouts.
Okay.
And then I want to know what your favourite workout and least favourite workout was.
What was your favourite workout of the week?
Okay, thanks. This is like I'm bullying him into asking me these questions.
I thought I was the interviewer, but
yeah, but I don't
anyway,
like the way you're interviewing. I'm the interviewer in this podcast.
You're the interviewee.
Yeah, but in this podcast, but in the overall podcast, that's not how it works. My favorite workout to do was definitely Grisabel, because it was fast and it was just really fun. Like I really enjoyed that, and going into that, like I just kept telling myself, like pretend you're in the gym. Like I got to do that. That was one of the workouts that I got to test with next to Ben, and Neil and Stephen also did it too. So like that was really fun when we did it with them. So I literally was just telling myself, like pretend it's like that. Like that was really fun, and I did, and it was really fun. And it was like a bit of a race. Like I feel like I've never really had like a race like that. That was my first sort of, at Down Under we had a few races, but like my first sort of individual experience, like being in a bit of a race, like that was really, really cool. So I think that was my favourite. What was your favourite?
Yeah, that was a cool one to watch. Yeah, it was like interesting because you like at the start everyone's kind of pretty close, and then you sort of don't know where people are, and then the clean and jerks start, and you're like, oh crap! All of a sudden, like you're right at the end there, and like you're moving really quick. So it was exciting, and I was just thinking like, fucking hold on to that bar at the end, win this race. But it was really cool. I really enjoyed the rope climb one as well. That was it was a race. It was just a much slower paced race, but again, like Hayley kind of. I would, like in that heat, I wouldn't say like everyone was really close at the start, but like, you know, toward the end it was very clear it was like in that heat it was her and like maybe two other girls, and one in particular that were all very close, and that was an interesting one to watch. It was much more of a pacing workout, but
yeah, that was cool too, because like when I was actually on the floor, it was like the opposite of last year when I was like, all I was thinking about was how everyone else was beating me. Whereas this year I didn't even have any idea. And then like about halfway through, I was like, oh wait, I'm actually like kind of out in front here. Like it was really, it was a cool moment. So that was a good one. The most challenging, asking myself questions, the most challenging workouts, I think was event 1, because I was like dying. My bar muscle ups was so awful, and that was making me feel really sorry for myself. I wasn't actually dying like physically wise. It was just like sadness wise. I was not happy. But so I think that was probably the most challenging of the weekend. And again, that came down to like expectations versus reality and like not really being in the moment. So I think that was just a good lesson to learn, and like how that actually does play into performance. And then event 5 was definitely hard. That it wasn't like terrible, but like mentally, like that dumbbell was really heavy, and I had to like be really tough to not stop on it. Yeah. So Yeah, I think that was cool. And there was one moment in that too when the stadium, like this is another like surreal moment, like the stadium absolutely like erupted because on the third round, I think Tia like ran to the dumbbell or to the burpee box jump over like before Grace. And I was having to focus so hard on the dumbbell because it was so heavy and the stadium just like it was like vibrating around me and I was literally like, just ignore it, it's okay. So that was interesting too, but that was cool. Okay, good questions. Thanks, Ben, for asking.
You're not going to ask me what my most challenging workout was?
What was your most challenging workout of the weekend?
Yeah, definitely the first one, just again, because like, for me, like obviously I can't really impact anything once she's out there, but I could just see that she was losing her focus a little bit, and I also knew that it was eating you up more than it should have, and like I think straight after the workout I'm like, hey, great effort, and it was like, Hayley was a bit disappointed, obviously, like not really badly or anything, but just she knew that it didn't go as well as it could have.
Yeah.
And I was just like, you've still placed well. Like 14th is not a bad start.
Yeah.
And you like definitely good enough to be in the top 10 on that workout, but it is what it is. We move on. And so the good thing about it was that, again, like it's the challenging things and the struggles where if you're paying attention and you're open-minded, you're willing to learn, that's where you're going to learn the most. And as soon as we got through that, and we had a little chat and it was like, what was the biggest, what was the issue in that workout? And pretty quickly, Hayley was just like, I just got in my head. You sort of then like were like, there was a challenge with the grip or different things. And I was like, yeah, you've said it. Yeah. Like, let's move on. Yeah. And now it's like, now going into each workout, it's like, you've got to keep your focus no matter what. Yeah. And so.
And like, the thing is, it happens like on certain movements. I think bar muscle ups are something that it's really easy for me to get in my head. So there was like one thing that just set me off and then I was just like gone from and it wasn't even in the workout. Like it was when I walked out, like I was straight away gone. And like, that's where I need to be a bit like mentally stronger and like not let that happen.
You still put in a really good, good effort. It was just, you lost a little bit because of that. But overall, it was good. I was a little bit like, the other one for me was probably, it wasn't like frustrating or anything like that, but I know that like just with those farmer's handles, I knew ability wise, like you could do better, but it just couldn't quite click or figure it out.
I figured out another way to help too, because we were doing these yesterday, and I need to put my thumb around as well, because that made it so that, this is just, if anyone wants a tip on farmer's handles, I was putting my hand around. So we did like 3 by 30 meters with 65 in each hand around, because then I wasn't touching my legs at all. Yeah, right. So, because that's what it kind of felt like. I was like tripping on myself, like I couldn't walk. So doing that, I think I want to do more too. Like obviously these ones were a little bit different, but like I think that definitely will help too. I want more practice on that.
But overall, it was really cool. Yeah. She executed everything super, super well, and it was a lot of fun. Yeah. Over the whole weekend.
So that was good. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that.
And if anyone has any questions that I didn't ask or that Hayley didn't already answer and you wanted to answer them, shoot them through, because we can definitely answer a few questions from members or people watching, listening in the next episode.
Yes, we can. Yes, and that's it. Thanks for listening. Thanks again, guys, for all the support for Torian. Much appreciated. And you guys you all support me on just always anyway. So I very much appreciate it, and make sure you jump on the nutrition challenge.
Absolutely.
That'll be good.
Look forward to another month coming up.
Yeah, I don't know what we're going to talk about next month, but something fun.
Figure it out. Thanks for watching.